Hi, I'm Simon Grover. I'm a councillor on St Albans District Council and I've been there since 2011. I'm the only Green councillor we have at the moment, though we have plans for more soon. I'm going to talk to you about being St Albans District Council's only Green councillor and leader of the 5-strong Independent and Green group. I'm going to talk about what it's like being that sole councillor, what it's like being in a finely balanced council, and some of the things I've achieved. I want to be in the room where it happens, sings frustrated politician Aaron Burr in the musical Hamilton. And since my election to St Albans District Council in 2011, I've been in the room. OK, it's not the White House, but stuff does actually happen at the council, which might not be visible to local residents. Since day one, I've seen it. It's extraordinary. Officers and councillors glance nervously at me whenever environmental subjects come up. Officers explain, partly to me, partly to everyone else, what the council is doing or wants to do or did last Tuesday. Councillors compete to mention how much they recycle at home or avoid flying or turn down the thermostat. I don't have to say anything, and this happens. Don't get me wrong, I say plenty, but much of the influence I've been able to have has simply been being in the room. I've heard similar stories from other Green councillors around the country. On top of this, I've had the advantage of being in the council while there are small or non-existent majorities. That means even more can happen. In 2011, when I was first elected, the word sustainability wasn't even mentioned in the council's corporate plan. Today, the climate emergency is the council's #1 priority. Of course, that's not all down to me. The science is better understood, we've seen youth climate strikes, Extinction Rebellion, and increasing local awareness driven by very active local groups like Sustainable St Albans, which grew out of the Transition Towns movement. Action on the climate now forms part of all parties' manifestos. When the vote on declaring a climate crisis came to our council last year, it had cross-party support and the vote was unanimous. But I've certainly been part of the process, shifting the debate, encouraging colleagues from other parties to come on board, and you can see that things have moved a long way. With a minority Conservative administration elected in 2011, I was able to get a shopping basket of environmental measures added to that first budget in return for not blocking its progress. So, in my first year as a councillor, I won agreements to expand the farmers' market, insulate council buildings, switch communications from paper to email, plant more perennials instead of annuals, and lots more. In following years, with the administration still a minority, I made further progress, particularly negotiating a budget amendment for investment in solar panels on leisure centres and leading an initiative to replace ordinary litter bins with recycling bins. From 2015, there were 4 years of majority rule that made progress trickier. I worked more behind the scenes, having built relationships with officers and understanding more about how things worked. Since 2019, we've had a minority Lib Dem administration, so the foot is back on the pedal. I've negotiated plans for a district-wide insulation programme, more solar power, more electric car charging, and a massive tree planting operation. I'm Vice Chair on the committee overseeing the response to the climate emergency, and I persuaded other councillors to unanimously support a motion calling for Hertfordshire to dump its fossil fuel investments. Last year, I introduced the leadership and senior officers to the idea of adding battery storage to the solar panels at our biggest leisure centre, which is the #1 user of energy in the council's estate. I organised meetings with a resident who works for a solar battery company, and just last week I was told that the council is going ahead with this idea. This week, I shared with them the news of Brighton's new network of over 200 charging points for EVs that are built into lampposts. This would be perfect for St Albans as we have a big conservation area, not much off-street parking, and lots of narrow pavements. So I feel lucky to have been able to achieve a lot with the support of my party colleagues outside the council, but there's a lot more to do and it's never been more urgent.